What's up, Gunners? So I'm going to go over the build for HyperMoze. It's a build around Hyperion SMGs. Originally, I started it with the Hyper Focus, as I only had these two, and I was actually using the 125% Bear Anoint, the Fire Anoint. But now I have a redistributor, so that's actually the star of the show when the mobbing comes. These are for the single targets, like sometimes I use it on a heavyweight, and they're for the bosses for sure. Especially this one. It's used on all the bosses. This one I use on Wotan's shield phases and stuff. And sometimes I pull it out for heavy badasses if there's not a lot of enemies around. Just for single target, it's better than the redistributor at single target. This is better at a lot of targets. So I have to open with, if you watched the takedown run I originally uploaded with this build, I talked about the green monster and why I didn't like it in the build. But after I uploaded that video, I went and realized that when I was doing all my testing and setting up the build, I was using those 125% bear annoyance here, I guess. I was using this instead, and I wasn't using a redistributor at all. I had just like a sliding anoint one, and it wasn't very good. And so I formed that opinion based on that. And when you're using the 125% bear anoint, the green monster didn't do as nearly as well. It seemed like the Blastmaster outperformed it pretty handily, and then the Blastmaster offered some quality of life. The extra redistribution, it made it so we could do a no reload build easily, and the short fuse damage was always up and stuff. I run into having to reload with these hyper focuses, especially when I was maining the hyper focuses. That's a big part of the reason I didn't like the green monsters, because I had to reload pretty often. But now I got this green monster, and I don't think I had mag size on it before, and now I do. So I prefer the green monster now. I've done a lot of takedown runs today, switching back and forth, and so I'm going with this now. So I have to take back what I said in that other takedown run if you watched that. And if you happen to have seen the first build video I made when I was using the Blastmaster, I have to take that back. And now we're set up around the green monster. And because I made that change, I did change some of the skill points around a little bit. So I'll go over the build. I've already explained the guns. This is going to chain to nearby enemies. Moze's Cloud of Lead acts kind of like Zane's Barrier and gives it an extra change shot. That counts as an amp, so every fourth shot from Cloud of Lead and every seventh shot from the gun will chain, which with the fire rate and our boost to fire rate, that's going to be quite often. These shoot like a T. When you hit something, projectiles shoot out to the side, and when you're shooting a big target, a wide target, those projectiles hit that target as they're escaping. So that's why it's really good for the bosses. We got our normal tracker with the grenade annoyant. I don't use Iron Bear pretty much except for emergency, so I guess it's a pretty good anoint to have on it. That way we'll be a little healthier in that emergency. I hardly ever get an Iron Bear in this build, and that's part of why I've changed the points around, because when I first made the build I was using Auto Bear more often. I was getting in it for just help keep up consecutive hits when I started using that, and just to get a little more damage and nade regen and stuff. But as I ran takedown all day, I found I didn't need to use Iron Bear at all, or Auto Bear also. I've changed some of those points around. So I no longer have Grizzled, even though the damage from firing this guy in is not great at all. I don't need Grizzled, it's wasted if I'm not using Iron Bear, so or Auto Bear. So I put all the points there. We got this for short fuse, stainless steel bear boost short fuse, as most of you know. These are standard points, everybody knows what those are for. And now we have 5 in Vampire. Before I was spending 4 points in it, but I had the extra from my Blastmaster, so I was at 7. But now we're at 5. I was able to spend an extra point here for more nades since we didn't take Grizzled at all, and we didn't take Auto Bear. We saved some points there. We have To the Last and Short Fuse, which are always good takes. On to this tree. These 3 are basically what lets you shoot for a long time and not have to reload. With the Blastmaster, you got 2 redistributions, so you never have to reload. Excuse me. But since I switched, I went ahead and took the points out of Scrappy. Now that I'm using the Grey Monster, and put them in the Iron Bank. And I haven't ran this revised setup in the takedown yet, but this might be enough to where I don't have to actually reload anywhere. Now we have Scorching RPMs, which is, we got extra from the class mod now, which is great for short fuse and for critical hits. And then Russian Offensive is a utility skill I like to take. You could move the 3 points I have here and that point if you want squeeze a little more damage, and put them in Drowning and Brass. And these points you can move around as you see fit. If you find you want to use auto bear more, like if you're having a hard time staying alive and you need to get in and out of Iron Bear more, then I would take Grizzled and only put 1 point here and take auto bear. And you would end up with less here, or maybe less vampire, depending on what you choose to do. So other than that, that's about it. I'm going to have a link in the video description to this takedown run that I'm about to do.